This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Hearts will need to break like glass. Designed this way, but we hope it lasts. She cuts me up like a knife, but it feels like fun. She scares me in my dreams, I just can't run.
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you are so right. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, May the 8th of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Yeah. And we are coming across that multiverse, as we call it, Safety FM. And then we are hanging and banging with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Oh, yes, the peeps at Radio Big, as we get to do all of the stuff that we get to do. So there you go. So let's start talking about it. It is Friday, which makes it Freeform Friday. So what does that mean to you? Well, that means that we are going to be talking a little bit about everything. I kind of say that, and I kind of go at the same time. I kind of feel like that's what we do anyways. But on Fridays in particular, it's the day that we play catch-up. And not play with catch-up, it's play catch-up. So everything that we didn't get to talk about earlier in the week, we discussed today. We decide to go down the pants labyrinth, if you may, and go through everything that we do need to discuss. The reason we do it that way, because sometimes there's so many news stories that we're just not able to get a hold of. So many news stories that we just are unable to share that we go, okay, everything needs to be talked about. Also, what happens on Friday is that we do the weekend review. So kind of a clip of everything that's happened so far this week. That way we kind of know what's going on if you haven't been caught up. So there you go. So outside of that, we will still bring in some people from Feature Story News. They are the professional broadcasters to tell you what the hell exactly is going on. And then outside of that, I'll come back, give you some news stories, exactly what's going on, and we'll kind of run from there. If you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging, that's audio, video, and text messaging, that will get you straight through into the system. So that is it. That is the whole kit and caboodle. Once you do that, we're golden. Golden. So here, let's do this right now. Why don't we go ahead and do our little weekend review stuff? Take a listen to what the hell's happened so far this week, and we'll get that going for you. I mean, I guess we can get that going for you right now.
FBI Director Kash Patel is criticizing the Pima County Sheriff's Department for how it handled the investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. In a podcast interview with Sean Hannity Tuesday, Patel says the department waited too long to get the FBI involved.
We take you inside Cuba. The Trump administration has hit the Cuban government with new sanctions tonight. President Trump has vowed to topple the Cuban regime.
President Trump says his administration has had productive talks with Iran over the past 48 hours and that a deal could be within reach.
But the price of gasoline for consumers in the U.S. is still up 50% since the beginning of the war. Today's average is over $4.50 a gallon.
The race to track a deadly virus outbreak that started on that cruise ship in the Atlantic after authorities have now revealed tonight that many passengers got off that cruise ship weeks ago. The Hantavirus outbreak linked to that cruise ship in the Atlantic, health officials tracking at least 30 people now who got off the ship 2 weeks ago, traveling to their home countries all over the world, including 7 Americans now back in the U.S.
A major new development in the Jeffrey Epstein case. A federal judge unsealing for the first time a purported suicide note, possibly written by the now notorious sex offender before he took his own life. Here's that note, just released publicly in the last few moments, appearing to state in part, they investigated me for months, found nothing, and time to say goodbye.
The collapse of Spirit Airlines. This morning, we are learning new details about how the deal to save Spirit fell through.
Did you see this? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth just denied a report that Iran is using Kamikaze Dolphins in the Strait of Hormuz, but said the U.S. military might be. And if Kamikaze Dolphins don't work, they're going to send in Cocaine Bear. So...
Okay, Kamikaze Dolphins is, I guess, the way to go when it's all said and done. So there you go. That is the weekend review. So that is what's going on. That's what's happened so far to this point. So if you're good with this, I am definitely good with it. I think it's time to get into some of the news stories. This way we know exactly what is going on. So why don't I just go ahead and bring in my amigos from Feature Story News.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. The southern Indian state of Karnataka has changed its industrial land policy to lock in a major American semiconductor investment worth around $430 million. The government has approved 140 acres near the city's international airport for US chip equipment giant Applied Materials to set up a research, development and ecosystem hub. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Karnataka government says this flexibility is needed to anchor a high-value chip research and innovation ecosystem in Bengaluru, which is also known as India's Silicon Valley, even as the government is accusing the federal government of pressuring companies to choose Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state Gujarat for similar projects. Instead of leasing out land as per existing policy, Karnataka will now offer it on a lease-cum-sale basis and allow marquee semiconductor firms to get plots without competitive bidding. Analysts say this could set the stage for more companies to establish manufacturing in Karnataka, which already leads India's IT services industry. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
A U.S. federal trade court has struck down President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff, declaring it illegal. The White House imposed the rate in February after the Supreme Court ruled against the administration's Liberation Day tariffs. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Another tariffs fight in which courts have weighed in to push back on the legality of Donald Trump's central economic and trade policies. The 10% across-the-board tariff was meant to be a placeholder put in place after the Supreme Court struck down his reciprocal Liberation Day tariffs in February. But a group of small businesses who brought the case argued that the Trump administration was simply trying to sidestep the Supreme Court ruling. The White House may now appeal, but if they lose, it'll mean more refunds for businesses affected at a time when the Trump administration is already trying to pay back $166 billion in Liberation Day tariffs. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Lufthansa has announced that it is preparing for the possibility of refueling stopovers should a jet fuel shortage continue. European supplies are at risk of running low due to the war in Iran and the disruption of fuel through the Strait of Hormuz. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
According to the airline's CEO, Lufthansa isn't imminently preparing to add refueling stops, but warns that preparations are underway. The carrier adds that fuel supplies through June are secured, but from then on, possible refueling stops on routes to Asia and Africa might be needed. Jet fuel prices have more than doubled since the conflict in Iran began, and Lufthansa has already cut 20,000 flights due to those soaring prices and dwindling supplies. European airports have warned that they face a systematic fuel shortage if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open, and the European Union says it's taking steps to ramp up procurement. William Denslow, Brussels.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. An outbreak of Hantavirus on board a cruise ship is not the start of a pandemic, according to the UN Health Agency. The World Health Organization says it's not the same situation as 6 years ago with COVID-19 because Hantavirus spreads through close, intimate contact. All those who have fallen ill on the cruise ship experiencing a hantavirus outbreak are now in hospital, as the ship itself and the remaining passengers sail to Spain's Canary Islands. US President Donald Trump said on Thursday he had been briefed on the situation, telling reporters it's very much, we hope, under control. Former passengers who left the ship at earlier ports are being advised to self-isolate. Stuart Smith reports from London.
146 people from 23 nations are still on board the ship, which has been anchored off the African island nation of Cape Verde for 3 days after being refused permission to disembark. It's now sailing to Spain's Canary Islands, from where passengers will return home after being checked if they're fit to travel. But the president of the Canary Islands has protested the plan. While the variant of the disease believed to be responsible for this outbreak is transmissible between humans, it requires much closer contact than flu or COVID-19, and the World Health Organization says there's no need for panic. Stuart Smith, London.
The main news again. US President Donald Trump says a ceasefire with Iran is still in place after both sides exchanged fire late on Thursday. The economic fallout from the Iran conflict is expected to top the agenda as leaders from the ASEAN bloc meet in the Philippines. A US federal court strikes down President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff, declaring it illegal, dealing a fresh blow to the president's flagship economic agenda. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things is mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Okay, yeah, we got it all for you right there. That's kind of the way that it works out in regards of what the hell's going on from time to time. So how do you think things are going this morning? I mean, are things fantastic for you? Are you kind of living and shouting and doing all of the fun stuff? That's always what I want to know. Are you having fun? Because if you're not having fun, then maybe we should talk about some other things where we can have fun. You know, and do all the fun stuff that we should be doing. I mean, maybe that's the way to look at it. So let's start talking
right away
about all the stuff that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And let me give you the start of where I like to start with some of the stuff. Let's go into that WTF mode. And no, it's not what you're thinking. It's welcome to Florida. A Florida woman, Kayla Burgess of Ave Maria, was home with her sleeping baby when she heard a loud banging on the lanai. That's kind of like the screened in section, just in case you don't know what that is. Fearing an intruder, she checked the porch and instead found two alligators tearing through her screen and fighting right outside of the door. The gators had ripped open a mesh and were brawling so violently that they were caught on video biting each other's tails. Kayla said that it looked like a territorial fight, not mating behavior, because there was blood, and one gator had the other's hindquarters in its jaw. I think that means its butt. A licensed trapper arrived and managed to corner one of the gators and thrashed around the porch, causing even more destruction. Both reptiles were eventually relocated. Kayla warned neighbors afterwards to keep an eye on their kids and pets, saying that the gators were fast, powerful, and terrifying. Take a listen to what she had to say.
I thought somebody was breaking in because I never thought that the gators were going to enter my porch. Definitely it looked like they were fighting over territory or something. It wasn't like a mating ritual that I had seen, because there was blood and it had its hindquarters like in its jaws through the door. It was scary, and I just warned everybody else in the neighborhood, like, watch your kids, watch the dogs, because it was fast. And they were powerful.
Okay, so let me ask you something kind of strange. Do you watch a lot of mating for gators? I'm just asking, because that's kind of a weird comment to make. At least it seemed that way in that particular regard. So what do you think? I don't know. Maybe that's something that people sit around and watch. I'm just not familiar with it. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. So here you go. Do you want to hear something weird? This is the stuff that I have to talk about, because this is the stuff that I get sent in and I never know what I should mention it. So I go, hey, we're going to hang on to this till Friday. To speed fat burn. Coconut oil. Coconut oil increases metabolism by 56%. Credit goes to the oil medium chain fatty acids, which improves the thyroid gland ability to convert fat into fuel. A delicious tablespoon of coconut oil, or a quarter of a cup of each canned pineapple, almond milk, and vanilla yogurt and rice. That will do the trick. Did you know this? And until I just said this a moment ago, was this something you wanted to know? Maybe that's the other question I probably should be asking instead of asking, did you know this? It's kind of weird, the stuff that gets sent in. Yeah. Maybe it's important to some. So let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multi, because that's just kind of what we do around here, and talk a little bit about everything. So talked about the alligator thing. Let's talk about this one. Domino's driver runs down a customer over a tip dispute. In Missouri, Fulton, Missouri, Domino's driver Zachary Nicholas Walton escalated a routine delivery into a violent confrontation after he received a tip. According to the probable cause affidavit, Walton initiated an argument, shouting profanities, calling the customer and witness fucking rude and taunting them. What are you going to do, bitch? Come get me. Surveillance video reportedly backs up the escalation. Investigators say that Walton then got into the vehicle, reversed towards the roadway, and despite the victim not blocking his exit, he shifted into drive and intentionally accelerated, striking the customer and forcing him into another vehicle to avoid a more serious injury. The victim suffered a visible hand injury and scrapes to his shin. Police say that Walton fled at a high speed, but was later found at a local Domino's, where he admitted that he drove towards the victim, but claimed that he only meant to scare him. He is now being held on bond on charges including first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and leaving the scene of an accident. Authorities also note that Walton has prior conviction for domestic assault and false imprisonment, underscoring the danger they say he poses. Domino says 30 minutes or less, hit and run express. He didn't get a tip, so he tried to deliver one with his bumper. So there you go. What a weird thing. Now listen, I'm not saying people should be working for free. Never been the case. But it does get a little strange when this is the shit you go to because of what ends up happening and not getting tipped. Like, this is like severe. Like, this is kind of one of those things that you go and go, what the hell are you thinking? So there you go. Take a listen to this. A Saskatchewan tow truck driver is going viral after turning a routine service call into a full wildlife rescue. Clint Gottner, owner of Rebel Towing, spotted a moose trapped into an ice near his home and immediately put every customer waiting on hold. He told the reporter he couldn't stand to see the animal suffering and jumped into action using his flatbed as a sling and help from neighbors. Let's see. Clint managed to pull the exhausted moose, later nicknamed Rebel, out of the frozen water. Once the moose was safely on the truck, the rescue took the wholesome turn. Clint called his wife and said, "Honey, bring out some blankets. I've got a moose on the truck." Rebel spent several days recovering on their property, calm enough to let Clint scratch his chin, rub his nose, and even pet his ears. By Monday morning, the moose wandered off on its own, apparently fully recovered. Even the motorist waiting on the delayed tow truck didn't mind the holdup. Clint joked, hopefully he comes back before he still has a tow bill that he needs to pay. So there you go. Some things to talk about as we are talking. What do you think here? For sure, it's an interesting one. You know, these are these wholesome moments that one talks about and never knows if it's really going to see the light of day in regards to some of the news stories that do occur. So I like the moments when we get to talk about them. No doubt about that. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things. Left side sleepers are more anxious, and the science behind it is way deeper than sleeping weird. A growing body of sleep tracking research shows that people who naturally drift to the left side tend to report higher levels of stress, emotional sensitivity, and more vivid, story-like dreams. Meanwhile, right side sleepers consistently score as calmer, more optimistic, and less reactive daily stressors. What researchers think are going on, sleep scientists say that the difference may come down to the brain and the body process of stress during the night. Left side sleepers put more pressure on their left side of their body, which is linked to the brain right hemisphere. the side associated with emotions, imagination, and threat detection. That may explain why left side sleepers report more intense dreams and wake up feeling mentally busy. Right side sleepers tend to activate the left hemisphere, which is tied to logic, calmness, and positive emotional regulation. These sleepers report fewer nightmares and more stable mood upon waking up. Sleep tracking data also shows that left side sleepers experience more micro awakenings, meaning that their brains stay slightly more alert through the night, a classic sign of underlying anxiety. The dream difference: left side sleepers report more vivid dreams, more emotional charged storylines, more nightmares and stress dreams. Right side reports simpler, less intense dreams, more positive dreams themes, and fewer middle of the night wake ups. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. So I got a question. So does this make you feel like you can flip it? Like, can you flip what side you're going to be sleeping on in regards to it? Like, I will tell you, for the longest time, I was a stomach sleeper. And then I had to get used to actually doing the sleeping on the back thing, because it got weird for a long period of time that I could not sleep if I wasn't sleeping that way. I had to correct that. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking. Let's get into
some serious news for a moment.
Rudy Giuliani has been moved out of ICU but is still hospitalized as he continues to recovering from pneumonia. His spokesperson Ted Goodman said on Wednesday night that Giuliani was admitted Sunday in critical but stable condition. Goodman said that Giuliani will spend some time recovering before leaving the hospital, and thanks to supporters for the outpouring of love and prayers. Earlier in the week, Goodman explained that Giuliani's pneumonia became severe because of restrictive airway disease, which he said Giuliani developed after running towards the World Trade Center during September 11, 2001 attacks. The condition causes the pneumonia to quickly overwhelm his body, requiring mechanical ventilation to stabilize his oxygen levels. So there you go. Also, in some other news, let's talk about this real quick. USPS is reviewing the proposed rule that would allow private individuals to mail handguns, ending the nearly 100-year probation. Since 1927, federal law has barred the USPS from shipping concealed firearms unless the sender is a licensed dealer. Yep, that's what's going on there. In January, the Department of Justice issued a legal options arguing the 1927 law violates the Second Amendment, stating that if Congress operates a partial service, it cannot refuse to ship constitutionally protected firearms for law-abiding citizens, even if there are not licensed dealers. Following that opinion, the USPS proposed a rule April of 2026 to permit mailing handguns, and such as pistols and revolvers. Under the proposal, handguns would follow the same safety requirements already applied to long guns. They must be unloaded, securely packaged, and the public comment period closed on May the 4th, and the USPS says it is now reviewing the feedback before the final decision. So there you go, there you go, there you go. Okay, so we'll see what happens there. Also, in some other news, let's talk about this one. A federal trade court delivering a major blow to President Trump's trade agenda yesterday, ruling that he overstepped his authority when he imposed the tariff of most U.S. imports earlier this year in a 2-1 decision. The Court of International Trade found that Trump's properly invoked a rarely used section of Trade Act 1974, which allows emergency tariffs when the U.S. faces serious balance of payment problems. The judges concluded that those conditions did not exist, making the tariff unlawful. This marks the second major legal defeat for Trump's tariff strategy. His earlier round of broad tariffs was struck down by the Supreme Court, triggering a massive refund process of roughly $166 billion in duties. And the new ruling stands the administration would have to reimburse importers of the 10% tariff. The decision also limits Trump's ability, at least for now, to impose a sweeping tariff without congressional approval. One of his key tools to pressuring foreign governments, raising revenue, and pushing companies towards U.S. manufacturing. The administration had described the tariff as a temporary measure while it worked on more durable trade policy under different statutes, which are not ready yet. So there you go. There you go. There you go. What do you think? I'm just asking. I just want to have a better understanding there. So there you go. Take a listen to this one real quick. Coming out of Tennessee, Tennessee lawmakers have approved a new redistricting map that would eliminate the state's last Democratic-leaning black majority congressional district, sending the plan to Governor Bill Lee for final approval. The move comes just days after the U.S. Supreme Court ruling weakened part of the Voting Rights Act, a section that had helped protect minority communities' ability to elect candidates of their choice. Analysts expect the states to move quickly after that decision, as Tennessee did. The district in question is Memphis-based seat long held by Democratic Steve Cohen. Under the new map, the district is split into 3 Republican-leaning districts, meaning that of all 9 Tennessee seats would now favor the GOP. The vote has sparked protests inside and outside of the Capitol, with some Democratic demonstrators removed from the gallery. So there you go. What do you think? It's interesting. It's interesting on how these times are actually going about in regards of moving some of the stuff that is going on. So I do not know. What exactly is going to happen going forward. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as we do move forward with some of this redistricting in regards of what is going on. I believe Florida has just recently went through something similar. So has Texas. So we'll have to take a look and see what exactly is going on. If that's something that's important to you. If it's not something that's important to you, then I'm just kind of wasting your time in regards to talking about it. So there you go. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? I do have my friends from Feature Story News kind of waiting in the wing. We normally would do a main story during this time, but it is Freeform Friday. So what does that mean when it's Freeform Friday? It means that we go news heavy with everything that's going on.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. The southern Indian state of Karnataka has changed its industrial land policy to lock in a major American semiconductor investment worth around $430 million. The government has approved 140 acres near the city's international airport for US chip equipment giant Applied Materials to set up a research, development and ecosystem hub. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Karnataka government says this flexibility is needed to anchor a high-value chip research and innovation ecosystem in Bengaluru, which is also known as India's Silicon Valley, even as the government is accusing the federal government of pressuring companies to choose Prime Minister Narendra Modi's home state, Gujarat, for similar projects. Instead of leasing out land as per existing policy, Karnataka will now offer it on a lease-cum-sale basis and allow marquee semiconductor firms to get plots without competitive bidding. Analysts say this could set the stage for more companies to establish manufacturing in Karnataka, which already leads India's IT services industry. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
A U.S. federal trade court has struck down President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff, declaring it illegal. The White House imposed the rate in February after the Supreme Court ruled against the administration's Liberation Day tariffs. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Another tariffs fight in which courts have weighed in to push back on the legality of Donald Trump's central economic and trade policies. The 10% across-the-board tariff was meant to be a placeholder put in place after the Supreme Court struck down his reciprocal Liberation Day tariffs in February. But a group of small businesses who brought the case argued that the Trump administration was simply trying to sidestep the Supreme Court ruling. The White House may now appeal, but if they lose, it'll mean more refunds for businesses affected at a time when the Trump administration is already trying to pay back $166 billion in Liberation Day tariffs. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Lufthansa has announced that it is preparing for the possibility of refueling stopovers should a jet fuel shortage continue. European supplies are at risk of running low due to the war in Iran and the disruption of fuel through the Strait of Hormuz. William Denslow reports from Brussels.
According to the airline's CEO, Lufthansa isn't imminently preparing to add refueling stops, but warns that preparations are underway. The carrier adds that fuel supplies through June are secured, but from then on, possible refueling stops on routes to Asia and Africa might be needed. Jet fuel prices have more than doubled since the conflict in Iran began, and Lufthansa has already cut 20,000 flights due to those soaring prices and dwindling supplies. European airports have warned that they face a systematic fuel shortage if the Strait of Hormuz doesn't open, and the European Union says it's taking steps to ramp up procurement. William Denslow, Brussels.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. An outbreak of Hantavirus on board a cruise ship is not the start of a pandemic, according to the UN Health Agency. The World Health Organization says it's not the same situation as 6 years ago with COVID-19 because Hantavirus spreads through close, intimate contact. All those who have fallen ill on the cruise ship experiencing a hantavirus outbreak are now in hospital, as the ship itself and the remaining passengers sail to Spain's Canary Islands. US President Donald Trump said on Thursday he had been briefed on the situation, telling reporters it's very much, we hope, under control. Former passengers who left the ship at earlier ports are being advised to self-isolate. Stuart Smith reports from London.
146 people from 23 nations are still on board the ship, which has been anchored off the African island nation of Cape Verde for 3 days after being refused permission to disembark. It's now sailing to Spain's Canary Islands, from where passengers will return home after being checked if they're fit to travel. But the president of the Canary Islands has protested the plan. While the variant of the disease believed to be responsible for this outbreak is transmissible between humans, it requires much closer contact than flu or COVID-19, and the World Health Organization says there's no need for panic. Stuart Smith, London.
The main news again. US President Donald Trump says a ceasefire with Iran is still in place after both sides exchanged fire late on Thursday. The economic fallout from the Iran conflict is expected to top the agenda as leaders from the ASEAN bloc meet in the Philippines. A US federal court strikes down President Donald Trump's global 10% tariff, declaring it illegal, dealing a fresh blow to the president's flagship economic agenda. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, So the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
We laugh through the pain, we cry to the stars. We don't understand why we need each other's arms.
Okay. Here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing our fun stuff around here.
She scares me in my dreams.
A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are hanging out doing all of our fun stuff. Yep. Some good times going on here. So this right here, this is called Oblivion, My Obsession. That's the name of the song. It's by a band called Night, N-I-T-E.
In our darkest hour, we should meet again.
Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. Yep. A lot of stuff going on inside of that multiverse. I would recommend strongly giving a little streamer-emer action. We would like to thank Night for allowing us to play this here. Yep. Yeah. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse, that's for sure. Listen, I have to tell you, because we have to discuss this all the time, I just love music. Like, there's just nothing... There seems like to be nothing better in regards of stuff that you can do standing, in regards of listening to music. I mean, I'm just saying. So there you go, some stuff to think about as we are talking. So if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. Yep, no matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, it will change everything for you just by going to that website and taking a look around at the information that they have to offer. TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. No, seriously, it can change so many things for you by just going over there. Okay, so it's Friday, so we have to talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So if you are going to the
cinema
over the weekend, here are the newest movies that have come out. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour live in 3D, starring Billie Eilish. Movie synopsis: an accompanying 3D concert film documenting the Manchester show and co-directed by Billie Eilish and James Cameron. It's rated PG-13. It's hitting theaters today. Also, Mortal Kombat 2. Let's see. The fan favorite champions are now joined by Johnny Cage himself, are pitted against one another in the ultimate battle to defeat the dark rule of Shao Kahn that threatens the existence of the Earth realm and its defenders. It's rated R, hitting theaters today. Also, let's see. The Sheep Detectives. Every night, a shepherd reads aloud a murder story, pretending that his sheep can understand. When he is found dead, the sheep realize that at once it was a murder, and they think that they know everything about how to survive it. So there you go. That hits theaters today. And last but not least, Remarkable Bright Creatures. Though unlikely bonds formed during the night shifts at a local aquarium, Tova, an elderly widow, learns of a life-changing discovery that may bring her joy and wondered once again. Streaming now on Netflix. So there you go. That's some stuff going on right there. So listen, I have to tell you, I'm kind of intrigued by the Billie Eilish thing. I'm not going to lie. Number one, I like her as a singer. And number two, I think it's interesting that James Cameron took on this project with her, and I know that they're co-directing on this in regards of releasing this, because keep in mind for a moment here that he did have the Avatar movies, and it did kind of change everything in regards to how he did that setup back in the day. So it's definitely something to think about. So there you go, some stuff to consider as we move forward. So with that being said, why don't we continue moving forward and talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is kind of what we do around here. So let's go ahead and do this. No, like seriously, let's go ahead and do this. Let me tell you about this little event that we have coming up. And we're calling it Reality Shift. It's an observational symposium taking place in Orlando, Florida. We're going to be talking about some different things there. We'll have Nick Weatherly talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin talking about human and organizational performance. We'll have some level of a documentary that will take place in the middle, somewhere towards the middle. And then I'll come back out and close the whole thing out talking about Signal. So, if you'd like to hang out with us, we'd love for you to come out and do some things, that's for sure. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.io, or you can go to safetyfm.com and click on live events, or you can scan the little QR code that's right there on the screen. Safetyfm.io, safetyfm.com, or scan the QR code. Listen, it's going to be a much different presentation than other things that we normally do. So we'd love to see you there. Happening in Orlando, would love for you to come out, hang out, and do your thing. That there is no doubt about that. So there you go. So, a lot of stuff going on. Anyways, let's get back into it. Let's start talking right away about some other things that are going on. I do have John Smalls waiting in the wing, wanting to talk about the Motivation Minute. So if you're good with that, which you should be, I mean, I think you should be.
Duh.
We can get him in, start talking about the motivation, and we can feel motivated on this lovely Friday. I mean, I think you can feel motivated on this Friday. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Alex. Tony Robbins said, "The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment." I agree 100%. I was meeting with a guy last week. He's a local business owner. He has one store. We were talking about his company, and he had mentioned a national brand name. He's been watching their stock prices, and he told me he wants to buy 51% of their stock so he could take over the company and merge it with his business. I was kind of taken back by this, but I love it. What a big thinker. I'm attracted to that kind of person. I'm drawn to their energy and that kind of thinking. I feel like I'm the same way. I've always liked to think big. If I'm going to put in the effort to do something, why not do it bigger and better if I can? Some things I've planned haven't worked out. That's okay. I still feel like I've done more than I would have if I hadn't planned big. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Trump administration's recent surge of immigration agents into Minnesota has caused a noticeable slowdown in federal law enforcement.
A new review of court records on Thursday indicates that other serious investigations have stalled during this intense operation. Federal prosecutors have expressed concern over the shifting priorities and the impact on their ongoing criminal dockets. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The Pentagon confirmed that military forces neutralized 2 individuals during a Wednesday operation targeting a suspected drug trafficking vessel.
The strike occurred in the Caribbean region as part of ongoing efforts to intercept illicit smuggling activities. U.S. defense officials stated that the mission successfully disrupted a major supply route. An investigation into the specific origins of the vessel is currently underway by federal authorities. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Public health officials are investigating a concerning Hantavirus outbreak that has recently affected passengers on a cruise ship.
The vessel docked on Thursday as health agencies struggle with insufficient contact tracing after the first reported death. Many passengers have already dispersed into various communities without receiving proper medical screening or immediate isolation. Local hospitals are now on high alert to manage any potential cases of infection. Kyle Norris reporting.
A federal grand jury on Thursday formally indicted a man accused of attempting to assassinate President Donald Trump.
The suspect faces 4 felony charges following an incident involving a firearm and a Secret Service officer. Legal teams are preparing for the upcoming trial while security protocols remain at high alert. Authorities have not disclosed additional motives regarding the attack at this time. Gary Beck reporting.
Chinese officials emphasized stable diplomatic relations with the United States on Thursday before the upcoming visit from President Trump.
The leadership in Beijing expressed confidence despite recent trade and geopolitical tensions affecting global market sentiment this week. They maintain that cooperation remains a key priority for both nations moving forward. Continued dialogue is expected to address lingering economic concerns throughout the year. Chris Anderson reporting.
Federal regulators announced on Thursday that the Commerce Department will now test major artificial intelligence software models.
Leading technology companies have agreed to provide early access to systems before they are released to the public. This shift marks a significant move by the Trump administration to increase oversight in Silicon Valley. Officials want to ensure that AI safety standards are met before widespread deployment. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Chief Justice John Roberts addressed the public perception of the Supreme Court during a recent forum on Thursday.
He argued that the justices should not be viewed primarily as political actors in the current legal climate. The institution continues to face scrutiny over its recent rulings and internal lobbying pressures. Roberts maintains that judicial independence is vital for upholding the rule of law nationwide. Lawrence Keller reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Another great hour of Freeform Radio. Or is it Radio Big?
Great, I don't know. Things that we talk about could be considered great. I don't know. It's just stuff that we talk about. It's just stuff that we do. Maybe that's the way to look at it as we are talking. I don't know if we should level some greatness in there, but whoever knows. Okay, let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Back in 1794, the U.S. Post Office is established. Let's see. 1963, Dr. No premieres in the U.S. In 1994, Colorado Silver Bullets all-female pro baseball team first game happens back on the day. Also in 1997, Tia Leone and David Duchovny wed in Grinchwood Village. And in 2019, Facebook co-founder Chris Hughes argues that Facebook should be split up and regulated in the New York Times on an op-ed essay. So there you go. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays that are going on today. Philip Bailey turned 75. Chris Frantz turned 75 as well. Alex Van Halen turned 73 today. Melissa Gilbert, 62. And Enrique Iglesias. Yes, he turns 51, just in case. Yeah, that's that guy that's married to Anna Kournikova. Yeah, just the guy. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some other things. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. NASCAR The Go Bowling at the Glen NASCAR race airs on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time from Watkins Glen International. Catch the race on FS1. Also, tonight's Mega Million drawing jackpot is for $215 million. Also, tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is for $47 million. White House press secretary announced yesterday that she gave birth to her second child earlier in the month. The baby is her second with her husband, Nicholas Richo. With whom she welcomed a son in July of 2024. And at least 17 people were injured after a dozen of tornadoes were reported across Mississippi late Monday, leaving a widespread damage in multiple counties and prompting a large-scale emergency response effort. Now, let me tell you this before we get too far. Today is Friday. And if you're in the U.S., on Sunday, it is Mother's Day. Duh. Just in case, if you need the reminder, you need to go get a gift. You can purchase something online. More than likely, it still has time to make it. I'm just saying. I just don't want to get you in trouble. Help the kids out, if you know what I'm saying there. Okay, so let's talk about some weird facts for today. There are more fake flamingos in the world than real ones. Law and ornaments win. Think about that. If you need some words of wisdom for today, here you go. Forget those who forget you. And then if you need some words of advice, here you go. If you are trying to learn a new language, try watching children's shows dubbed in the language. Children's shows tend to go over things like shapes, colors, animals, etc., and can help you learn basic words and sentences. Just throwing that out there, trying to help out. Just letting you know. Okay, so with that being said, that is the end of our show. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Seriously, that is the stuff. That is the stuff that he will be doing. So that is some options there to do. So here's what I will do. I will leave you, play some music on the way out because that's the way that it goes. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
She cuts me up like a knife, but it feels like fun. just can't run. Don't understand why we need each other's arms. She cuts me up like a knife.